Welcome to another episode of Shoot the Breeze. I'm here with Isaac again
Thank you very much.
to talk all things real estate media and beyond. Welcome, Isaac.
Thank you.
How has the last, 2 months been? Have you been here for 2 months?
Yeah, coming up on 3 actually.
There you go.
It's
I
good.
should know that.
It's good. We've been busy. We've been pretty up and down, but
Yeah.
the last sort of, I'd say in the last 2-3 weeks has been a pretty steady climb.
And obviously, we're not going to talk politics, but there's so much going around now with the whole budget and all that kind of stuff, which has affected people's motivation to move, sell, buy, whatever it may be. But overall, everyone's staying optimistic from what I'm hearing, and so are we. And it's a good opportunity for us to pivot and find different ways to be able to help clients, create different content, different forms of content. We spoke about that last month as well. It's trying times, but I'm sure it's only going to get better from here. Speaking of content, one thing that I got asked the other day is AI going to replace you? Which I wanted to talk about, because my short answer was no, but then I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation, but what are your thoughts? Let me ask you first.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty around that. I don't think it will replace photographers and videographers. There are already a lot of, tech and IT jobs that it has replaced, and, all these layoffs that we hear about. But with our roles, there's an aspect of it that can be replaced, especially the things people are already using it for, idea creation, lead gen, a lot of the different parts of any type of media role, they can be automated and I guess replaced, if you want to call it that. But when it comes to actually replacing the work that we do, at least not yet, it's not there.
I would agree with that. I think, like you said, the tools, and we have implemented AI tools that are helping us and speeding the workflow. But replacing us, I think we're still a little bit away from that. Ultimately, you need someone there present to take the photo. Still includes experience, just the knowledge of knowing how to set up a shot, preparing a shot. We talk highly around preparing the photo before taking the photo, which is probably 70% of what is required when you're on site. So I think it's an interesting debate topic, but I feel that there's one side of photography that I feel that is going to get affected more than the other. But hands-on, being out and about, I still feel that I think we still have a job.
100%. I mean, with that, I could already see, AI creating some app where a real estate photographer can, grab their phone and take a photo and it would make it look like a real camera. But then again, when it comes to attention to detail, framing, all the different things, that's something they're not going to know. And it's not like you can just read a list and go, yep, done. That comes with knowledge. Because, I haven't been doing it for long and I'm still learning all these things, whereas you've been doing it a lot longer. When it comes to things, like product photography, that is something that I can see being replaced because there are already a lot of people doing it. And if you're a smaller startup brand, and they're really good because you can just, take a photo of your can or whatever product it is and make a new one. And it looks really good. And I don't blame them for doing that. I don't love it. It's gotten much better since, ChatGPT a year ago. The image generation is crazy now. So if you can use it for that and you don't have a massive budget and it's not bending the reality and it is the actual product, then I don't see too much of a problem with that.
Funny you say that about telling agents to take a photo with their phone, because there is actually a product out there at the moment where an agent can take a photo, well, just anyone, not necessarily just an agent. They can take a photo and they can send it in to this company and they will make it look like a real estate photo and send it back. And I've seen that in the flesh. The problem that you find is generally, like you said, the angles are wrong. Although they do vertical straightening and things like that, they replace the sky, make everything look amazing. The quality of the photo is horrible. The issue the client had is that when they went to print for signboards and things like that, it was pixelated. So there's pros and cons of doing it cheaper. I always follow, I love the guide of the triangle. You've got fast, you've got cheap, and you've got good. Yeah. And most of the time you only get 2 out of the 3 and you've got to pick which one you want. So in this case, it's more fast and cheap, not always good. But going back to that as well with the phone photos, at the end of the day, the real estate agent or whoever it is, it's not their job to take the photo. I mean, it might save you, let's say, a couple of $100s, but in the long run, the agent is hired and employed to sell or to lease or whatever it is the property. They're not there as a photographer. So we always try and encourage them to leave it to the professionals for us to do the best we can for them to be able to do their job. But again, AI, all that kind of stuff, it is revolutionizing the industry. And another AI gen, let me start that again. Another AI tool that's started now is AI generated video. Not sure if you've seen too much of that.
A little bit.
Where they essentially they're taking a photo and creating a video from it. Now, for most things, I think you can really do some creative stuff. So I love that side of it. But when you are trying to create a real estate video with photos, there is a certain limit of what you can show without it being fake. And I've seen some, and look, my thoughts on it are that it can almost misrepresent the property.
100%.
So I would still like a video to be a video. I love the fact, and we have done this in some of our videos, where we've taken a snippet of that video and created something additional, whether it's to create a twilight or create some kind of visual effects to make it look appealing or put people in it and stuff like that. But you're not affecting the actual structure of the property. Whereas some of these videos that I'm seeing, they're turning the corner and showing down the hallway when there's no hallway. So I think that's just a little bit way off. It's probably a little premature. I think it's awesome that we're able to take a photo and create a video. But again, I think it's not quite, especially in real estate, you have to represent as accurate as possible. I still feel that's a little bit off. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it?
I have. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. You know, with what we're doing, it doesn't change anything. Like, for example, it'll be a backyard and you've got people around the barbecue. Or before, it's just a backyard, and then you do the AI scene where it just shows some people around the barbecue. You know, nothing has changed from the property. No false representation of what it is. But then, you know, when you get to these other ones where you are turning a corner, I don't know, for example, if it's a kitchen, you could turn the corner and it might generate some more cupboards there, but actually that's where the oven is. So now when they go in there, it's like, oh, hang on, you know, we had planned for this to be there and it's not actually right. So when you get into that side of things, and like the hallway example, then you can't really do that.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that it's happening. Cool. We are definitely embracing technology and AI, and if you're not really in any industry, you're falling behind. I know that you've been dealing with Claude and
I have a little bit
mucking around with that. I haven't touched that yet. What are your thoughts on it so far?
I need to do more on it. I started playing around with some of the Claude code and, you know, making some lead gen and content sort of creation bots just for ideas. But I prefer sort of doing stuff myself for that. It's more just to get the ball rolling. You know, I can prompt it, be like, Cole, come up with, 25 ideas for this page, and this page, reference all the knowledge I've given you about this, what our sort of content pillars are, then it will spit out a bunch, and then from there I can take it and then go, okay, cool, I like this, I'm going to play on that, because I might not like what it gives me a lot of the time, but I also don't want to spend 6 hours coming up with all these ideas and sitting on TikTok trying to get ideas for certain things. I've got other things to do. So,
Which leads me to the question of, AI being used creatively versus AI just being using, I don't know if the word is lazily. If that's not a word, I've just created it. Welcome. There's some people that solely rely on living their life based on what AI tells them to do, where they're literally punching in ChatGPT and stuff every day, like, how do I do this or how do I do that? Pasta. What should I do?
Yeah.
That's the most.
How do I cook my 2-minute noodles?
Yes. How long does it take? I think everyone should embrace AI, and not just AI, but just in technology. Give it a go. Even if you're older and later in life, it's a cool little skill set to have. I find the uses for everything. So I definitely say you should embrace it. Going against it is really just not going to set you back, but I feel like you're missing out on having a bit of fun. And AI started years ago. I don't know if you remember, but a few years back, I mean, we're only a few years apart, so, you'd remember. Shut up to anyone that knows my age. Um, there used to be an app that used to make you look old. Do you remember that?
I do.
That's pretty much where a lot of it started. You upload a photo of yourself, and then all of a sudden you look 80 years old and things like that, or you look like a supermodel, whatever it may be. But it's been around for a long time, and it's fun. You can have a little bit of fun with it too. But anyway, I digress. I just wanted to say that AI is, you can get a little bit creative and have a bit of fun with it. But when it's used in a very lazy fashion, I feel like you're not really getting any value out of it. And it's dictating what you do rather than how you do it. I feel like you get more value out of learning with AI
Yes.
how to achieve things rather than what to achieve.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on from there. Do I say moving on, or do we just move on?
What is more natural to you?
Well, I have one quick thing on that as well, so we'll just sort of, I guess, drop that. Um,
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, a lot of people would actually look at even what I'm doing using the content creation with AI and is going, oh, that's lazy, it should be all your own ideas. I'm like, yes, I agree, but also I'm not a content creator. I'm also like a videographer and photographer. But now what that has become with, how social media is you also have to be a content creator, sales, everything like that. So that's a whole another role in itself. And if I can use a tool to help me with that, because I'm not just going, oh yeah, cool, it's giving me these 10 ideas, I'm going to film exactly what it tells me. I take that and go, yeah, I don't like that, or okay, yeah, I can take an aspect of this and merge it, and then I also have my own ideas as well. So it's just a tool, especially when you're working with multiple different clients. It takes a lot of time to do that. So I use it for that. And I did a webinar the other week on AI. I actually got pulled off because I had to go do something else. But that was basically around building your Claude brain and using it for a whole bunch of skills and different layers in the automation and the brain of it. So that was quite interesting. I need to do a bit more work on it, and then I'll let you know how I go next time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's about scaling. I think you mentioned the word scaling. That's
is.
essentially what it is. It's for you to be able to do what you do, but have the support of maybe 3 or 4 other team members in an AI format.
100%. That's what people are doing. They're getting these AI bots and using them while treating one as essentially an employee.
Yeah.
You can. It's sort of merged. It was originally, one Mac Mini for each role, but now people are doing multiple on one, which is, more cost effective as well. They just give it one program and one identity, and it just does that thing. There's brands with hundreds of these.
Which explains, have you seen the cost of SSD hard drives?
Yes, I want to talk about that because it is ridiculous.
We want to vent about that.
We
That
do.
is
I'd love to
daylight
vent
robbery.
about that.
We have compared the prices we have paid for SSD hard drives. For those who don't know what SSD is, it's essentially a solid state hard drive, which is like fast processing for us to be able to edit videos and things like that, and process multiple photos. Because of AI and the process driven to run that as an engine, it takes up SSDs. So there's
SSDs and RAM.
that is crazy for anyone in the tech to hear the prices jump up double, if not triple. We're talking about our little hard drives that we used to pay like 200 for is now 450, 480, 500 and beyond.
Even more. I remember there was the one I was telling you about, which is the Samsung. It was the T9, 4 terabyte, and I saw it on Amazon for $450, and it was about $600 everywhere else, which was still what it was going for. And I didn't get it. I don't know why. And now I look back and on Amazon, it's $1,500.
There you go. Forget
I'm kicking
Bitcoin,
myself
forget
over
crypto. Sell your SSD
Anyone
hard drives.
invested in SSD about 6 months ago?
Well, have you seen just on Marketplace the amount of people that are just really cashing in
Yep.
on these hard drives,
They haven't used.
which they haven't used? They've been sitting around.
There's like a 2 terabyte for $600, and it's not even unreasonable, which is what sucks.
Look, hey, if you need it, someone's going to pay for it. But
Because it was the RAM that went up first. I haven't bought RAM. I don't deal with RAM, so it doesn't affect me.
Yep.
But that's what I heard first. And then I was like, oh, damn, that's unfortunate. And then I go to get a new SSD, and I'm like, oh, no.
that was overnight for me. I didn't even know until I had to buy one.
I know, same.
Shock. Anyway, moving on from that, I wanted to touch on something that we are creating here at Location Shots around setting up some monthly offers for all our clients and for new clients. Shameless plug. Sorry, I thought I'd add that. But last month we were doing $99 headshots.
Mm.
This month we have been doing property management reels, which obviously we've been quite busy with.
We have.
And I think it's a real value add. For those who want to contact us around it, just check our socials. We still have a few weeks left of this promo. It's such a value added, and we've actually heard some pretty good responses from people actually achieving results because of these videos.
Yeah, 100%.
The one that we did in Kingsgrove, just to name one,
Yep.
that was $2,500 property a week that managed to get leased.
And
Because
that
of
went up
through the video?
from 2000, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so, and there was another one in San Susi, I remember as well, same thing, waterfront. Photos were great, but just that little extra touch, they found, the client has told us, that's the feedback we've received, that the client found the video, which then
That's pretty cool.
got them to inquire. So that's pretty awesome to have real life feedback on stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's easy to try and convince someone to upsell, but they don't really believe it. But there is a proof to that, and I think there's always a place for photos, but I think video obviously is coming a long way. We've spoken about this time and time again, but that little property management reel, I think, is a big bonus because everyone puts so much attention, and I'm very passionate about this because I was a property manager, but there was so much emphasis on sales marketing, everything for marketing, going all out, balls to the wall when it comes to marketing on sales properties, and then no real love for the rentals. That's changed over the years. I've been working here for 10 years, and in 10 years it's gone from the very basics rental 5-shot package for a rental property all the way to us now doing floor plans, videos, drone, and so on and so forth. So, and I think it's well deserved, especially if you're trying to achieve a maximum result. It's important to invest in marketing and media. But yeah, for anyone out there, I am, what's the word?
Spit it out.
I'm waffling on about our shameless plug of our offers, but yeah, if anyone wants to check out our socials, next month is drones. So we're going to be doing half price drones. Half price off drones. So drone footage. Anyway, a new segment that I want to add to our Shoot the Breeze podcast are pet peeves. You've been here now long enough to surely have some pet peeves.
Oh, yes.
So I'll let you go first and tell me one of your pet peeves.
One of the biggest ones would have to be either not having the right keys or, any sort of, time wasting when it comes to that, because, it's not like we have one shoot a day, often we have one and we have a time frame of 15, 20 minutes to make sure that's done so we can get to the next one in time. So, we can't just hang around and go, yeah, all good, take your time with that. So, I mean, we had one with a client the other week where it turned up, and at first it was a bit hard to find the property. And then, actually, before I even got there, they found out they had the wrong keys. So it was another 10, 15 minutes or so I had to wait for them to come back. Luckily, I didn't have another one after that. So it was okay. It was sort of like, okay, cool, time's ticking, but, at least I don't have anywhere else to be right now. So they got back eventually. And then after that, it took us about 15, 20 minutes to actually find where it was. So that wasn't ideal. And because, unfortunately, it does happen that an agent will send someone else because they're busy with something else, and then that next person they've sent doesn't have the proper briefing. So when you get in one of those situations, it's a bit tricky because you can't put all the blame on them because there's always going to be some sort of miscommunication. But
It
that's
sounds
what we
like
to try
you've
and
just
eliminate.
given me like 5 pet peeves in the one.
It's all one.
So let's package that to make sure you have keys.
Yes.
Make sure if you're going to send a junior.
It's also just being organised and making sure if you are passing on information or something, then it's done smoothly.
Yeah.
That's all it really comes down to.
Well, my pet peeve for this month, and please stop doing this before a photo shoot. Please do not hose down your driveway, your warehouse floor, your front porch, or anything like that before we come to take photos, and then ask us. You can just Photoshop the water out, can't you? That's been the flavour of the month.
We are magicians to an extent.
We're good, and we can probably do that, but the length it takes to achieve that is unnecessary. And water doesn't make it look clean. It's actually really annoying, especially when we have a blue sky and all the floor is wet. So please do not water or hose. I'll say that again. Please do not hose down the floor before we show up for a photo shoot. That's my pet peeve for the month. I have more, but I'll bank them up for the following.
Sounds good.
Are there any weird properties? Any unique properties?
Unique properties? Not a whole lot, to be honest. It's been a pretty sort of standard one. Tell you what, there was the one really nice one we did in Kingsgrove that you talked about before.
Yeah.
That was brand new LED lights everywhere. Really fancy little touch PowerPoint thing, which was
Let's not talk
fun.
about that.
Yeah, we'll skip over that one. If you watch our reels, you'll see that.
That was... We got given the wrong information.
We did.
Okay.
Besides that, it was lovely.
Other than that, the property was great. For those who will see that reel when it comes out, they'll understand what we're talking about.
Yes.
I had a unique experience recently. We went to a property to shoot in the inner west, and it was a warehouse. We managed to get access to it. As we walked around, it looked like it was mostly vacant. It wasn't until a few photos in that we were told we were there for photos and a floor plan, and then we were told, oh, this was recently in the news because of a drug bust. It wasn't till they mentioned that where we started looking around and started seeing some signs of an interesting business that was taking place.
White powder around?
No powder, but there was like a few barrels of like acetone, which I've heard is used for very interesting reasons. I even saw in the corner there was a whiteboard, and it had what looked to be some kind of recipe. Some different chemicals that I've never heard of, but 10% this and 20% that. I found it quite hilarious. But I looked it up and I actually found it was quite a big bust.
Crazy.
By some local people that were well known to most. But anyway, without getting too much into that, that was probably the most unique experience.
That is pretty unique.
Not the first time, I will admit, but for now, that's probably the most unique
West
one.
for you.
Yeah, it keeps it
you on your toes.
interesting. Keeps it interesting. We should do a segment on that about all the unique stuff because we've done quite a bit. I have had this argument debate. Let's call it a debate with a few people around. Did professional cameras versus smartphones, creating content? I can tell by the look on your face you've got a lot to say about this. But I was having this conversation recently with someone, and obviously the word content creator is used quite freely.
Yes.
And anyone with a phone is a content creator, which is true. But when they're trying to create a unique piece of content, there's a reason whether you shoot with a smartphone or with a camera. What are your thoughts on both?
Look, until I want to say 2 months ago, I still am. Cameras will always beat phones. I stand on that and I'll die on that hill. But after using the camera on the 15 Pro Max and log footage and creating it, it is very impressive. Don't get me wrong, especially things like, the DJI Osmo, the Action 3, 4, 5, whatever you have. They're really good because they are, camera, they're a 1-inch sensor now. They film, D-Log M, all those sorts of things. They are really good. So for things like, content creation, vlogging, social media, Instagram, fine. That's all you need. When you start getting into, professional real estate videos, anything else, documentaries, so and so and so, you need a camera. You always need a camera. And I will always, if there is an option and a reason to use a camera, 100%. But if it's a quick thing, it doesn't need to be Netflix quality, then use your phone. That's fine.
Let me ask you something on that. Do you think vertical videos are overrated, and do you think there's still a place for landscape?
I always prefer landscape. That's what cinema is, and movie format. I'm very passionate about long form and documentary style video. That's where my passion is in this. So anytime we have a chance to do a landscape real estate video, that's awesome. Portrait is good, and it's what's trending. It's where the market is. So I have no issue with that. Unfortunately, that's where it is. I still like to do landscape content whenever I can, and that's sort of what I do on my own time, my passion projects. There is still a place for landscape, but portrait is what will do numbers now on social media.
Do you think it's ruining like property marketing?
I don't think it's ruining it. It's just flowing with the way that the industry is going now. That's how it is. You know, if you want to be on social media and doing only landscape, chances are you're going to do worse than someone doing portrait videos. That's talking just social media.
True. And it's similar to real estate. You want to use all of the real estate of the phone, and these days it's portrait. Not many people flip their phones, no matter how much. And this is another thing we've seen before. You used to be able to add the little icon that says flip your phone. I think if you see that now, most people just go skip.
What's interesting, because I'm curious if real estate agents will start asking for portrait photos instead of landscape.
And that was the thing where the real estate platforms were not allowing portrait photos. It was only landscape photos, whereas now they are accepting it, which there's different ways to do that. I personally wouldn't be posting one portrait photo. I'd be posting 2 or 3, creating a collage, and then still making it look landscape.
Okay.
That way people can still see it on their phone if they do tilt, or if they're looking at it on a computer or any kind of device, it fills the page. There's nothing worse than trying to look at a vertical photo on your monitor.
Yep.
And you're only seeing this, and you almost have to zoom in to get the full effect.
Yeah.
Something about your eyes seeing a full screen of an image just makes you immerse yourself a lot more into the photo or the video. But yeah, I think there's a place for it, like you said. What is the craziest edit, retouch, change you've been asked to do?
I don't know. I haven't really been requested any crazy ones recently. There's always the classic, yeah, I love it, but can you change the music? It's like, well, you say you love it, but the edit is the music. It's part of it. So, you know, sometimes that's actually an easy change. You know, if it's just quick cuts, especially when you're doing text on screen with lyrics. You know, I see people that, you know, post these reels. They have this crazy video with all the lyrics and all these VFX, and then it's like, well, yeah, you can't change a song on that. The song is the edit.
That should be in the pet peeve column.
That should be.
Yeah. The worst thing a media person can hear is, yeah, love the video, just change the music.
Yeah. Just really quickly change the music.
Just click.
Just simple.
AI.
Yeah.
It's similar to just Photoshop it. I'm still looking for the Photoshop button just to click on it, and it just magically appears. But
it just reads your mind and goes, oh,
yeah. Yeah, look, my experience around just Photoshop, I mentioned earlier about trying to Photoshop wet floors and things like that. We're talking a lot about pet peeves, I've noticed this time, but my issue is when they say, oh, look, the window's dirty or the oven door is dirty, just Photoshop it. Whereas, you know, obviously in most cases, all we say, you know, okay, we'll do our best, but I think we can all agree in our mind, we're thinking, just clean it. I'm finding things like we walk into properties and it's, instead of removing the towel, just Photoshop it out. No, it only takes 10 seconds to go there, remove it and stuff like that. And I think that's what we pride ourselves on as well. It's one thing, you hire a photographer, you're not just hiring them to take a photo. It's about preparation.
Yeah, you're presenting their property.
We're very passionate around that, making sure that we are preparing the property exactly so it's ready for the photo, not just leave it as it is and we'll just Photoshop everything later. Photoshopping is great and we've got that tool and it is a superpower. However, if we use it too much, it's time consuming, it's labor intensive, and it also sometimes ruins the integrity of the photo. Not everything getting photoshopped, especially when you're photoshopping cars out, or, you know, sorry, I've got a big boat in the front of my house. Can you get rid of it? Stuff like that is a bit of a no-no. But, I just went blank. How long have we been talking, give or take?
Probably more than 30 minutes, close to 40, I'd say.
Yeah, but that's with a chain, with the stops too, right?
Well, so I'm sort of including the fact that we stopped for a little bit.
Okay. One more topic? Any other topics?
I was just going to say, I'll just sort of lead into where that was so we can cut it in maybe. Yeah, there's nothing worse than when they go, oh yeah, you can just remove that. Super easy. It's like, no, you can't tell me what's easy in my job.
Mm.
So,
Look,
like you were
everything is easy. Just the time it takes sometimes takes longer or
Yeah.
shorter.
saying. Yeah, depends.
Yeah. No, well, look, we would always choose to physically move something
100%.
over
If you can,
than
you can
if
do
it's
it
possible.
in camera,
Yeah,
then you do it in camera.
that's it. We're finishing up this financial year shortly. Going into the new financial year, do you have any goals for what you want to try and achieve?
Ooh. Well, I'm moving into my own place this weekend, so that'll be nice to have a bit of that sort of freedom in there. I'd like to hopefully travel a bit more as well. Go overseas, do some shoots potentially. Might be in Malta in August doing a running documentary, so I'm waiting to hear back about that. But yeah, I think get out there, explore a bit more when I can would be pretty cool,
Awesome.
and buy some more camera gear.
Buy some more camera gear.
Yeah, that's always a
Always.
good goal.
Cool. Well, we'll wrap it up for June, and
What
hopefully.
about you?
What about me?
Mm.
What about me? Travel sounds good.
Mm.
Travel sounds good. Look, for me, I just want to just keep improving my skill sets. I know that it might sound boring,
Yeah, 100%.
but I'm very passionate with what I do. But I want to dive into the unknown of things that I don't know how to do and see if I can improve and just sharpen some skill sets. Not just behind the camera, but also in running a business.
Definitely.
A lot of people forget that we're not just people with cameras. We're
Yeah.
still operating schedules and meeting deadlines and all that kind of thing. So for me, my improvement in running the business rather than just creating the content also has a lot to play in making
Absolutely.
sure that everything runs fluid.
Yeah. No, I
So,
agree.
yeah, like we keep always saying, 1% better every day, and that's in all aspects.
That's
and for
right.
me, that's all aspects of my life. Yeah,
I definitely want to dive into some more editing skills as well. Start exploring DaVinci's Fusion page a bit more. Finally overcoming my
DaVinci all
fear
the
of
way,
that. DaVinci all the way.
even though Alex disagrees with that. We
It's
might
okay.
get him onto DaVinci, you never know.
He knows we're right, deep down.
That's enough for June. We'll talk again in July. If there's any topics that anyone listening wants us to cover, we're happy to discuss that, or any questions they may have that we want to talk about, we're definitely open to that. So, hope we're getting some value out of this, and I'll see you next month.
Thank you very much.